Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the channel for another Street Fighter Duel video. So earlier on today I put out a video going over this new Satsu Onslaught mode, which is a new part of Shadow City. People have asked me already, how do you unlock it? Nobody's entirely sure just yet, but it seems to be based on how far you are into the game. I'm at chapter 36. It unlocks somewhere between chapter 30 and 32. It's as much as we know. They've not really released much info on it as of yet. However, in this mode that I soundly screwed up earlier on, was the first appearance of two very desired characters, which is ONI or ONI AKUMA, depending on how you see them, and Evil RYU. So these two characters were the bosses in this mode, and as such, you're able to see their typing. Okay, so because this happened with AKUMA, AKUMA is one of the bosses in this mode, his typing matched what obviously you see here. Most people assume that this is going to be the case, and it might well be the case, right? I just want to point a couple of things out though, just in case, right? Just in case. If you look at this mode, right, first of all, this game is, I think most people know this by now, this game is essentially a port, a translation with changes to the TW version, right? Not the CN version. These two characters are legendary characters in the TW version. So in the base code that this game is built upon, they are legendary units, okay? Now, I've noticed, if you look here, this final stage for example, it says Frankie Rock, right? And it talks about Frankie Rock's true power. This Frankie Rock is one of those big robots that you fight in stage 1, and you fight them in those missions that you get. So one of the things I'm noticing so far about this is this mode doesn't seem to be completely finished, as in they've not cleaned everything up and it's not displaying exactly as they want it to display. So there is a chance, I'm not saying this is going to happen, all I'm saying is there's a chance that what we are simply seeing just now with RYU and ONI is them in their base state, which is what's in the code before it's potentially been modified. Now, I would love for them to be legends, and I think anyone, whether they're Dolphin right through to Whale, would love them to be legends. Obviously free to play wouldn't, because you've got absolutely no access to them at all, but the reality is, if they're legends, they're going to be significantly easier to get than if you've got to summon for them. Now, again, this could be what their typing's going to be. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The only reason I say it doesn't make a lot of sense to me is they've so far taken characters who are popular that they know that they can put into the summoning pool, and they've changed them to summonable units. One of the most popular characters that they could make a summonable unit would be Evil RYU. So for them to keep Evil RYU as a legendary and instead change characters like Cammy, who, yes, Cammy's popular, but she's not as popular as Evil RYU, change her from a legend to a master unit that you summon, it just seems a bit odd to me. Now, I hope that this is revealing their typing, and maybe by doing this they will kind of stick to it. Who knows? There's absolutely nothing at all to say that they are not allowed to change the typing of an enemy when it's in a stage versus what you can summon for. You see that happening in games like Dokkan and stuff like that. They'll take a character who is a type, and they'll, just for the sake of it being an enemy, they'll change the type. So it does happen, you know, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me that they would change the characters that they've changed and then not change these two guys. I know that it would be disappointing for free-to-play players because they want to be able to summon, but I think free-to-play players realise now that even if you could summon these guys, you're not going to get enough copies of them to actually use them, you know. And I think even though free-to-play players are an important part of the player base, legendary characters are good for everyone that does spend on the game, from the lowest spender right up to the highest spender, because how much these cost is vastly less than what it would cost to summon. So in that regard, it is good. The only thing that I think they could really do to improve things, especially for the free-to-play, would be something I mentioned before, which is take the system from AFK Arena, where you can earn the units. Takes you a bit longer, sure, but eventually you can earn them as a free-to-play. That would make everyone happy, and maybe they'll do that in future. Who knows? Like, who actually knows if they're going to do that or not? Again, while their typing is there, I just don't know if we should run with the assumption that that means this is what they're going to be. Again, I'd love them to be, but should we assume that? I don't know. I really don't know. It's a hard one to call, because, again, like I say, Monster Hunter Ken, he was changed from Legendary, made into an Inferno character. Cammy was changed from a Legendary, made into a Master character. And instead they filled her slot, wait, that sounds wrong, they filled her space with Flame Chung-Li, who should have been a standard character. So why take those, I don't want to say mildly popular, because that probably sounds wrong, because obviously Cammy is a popular unit, but really is she as popular as these two units up above are going to be? If these two units are summonable units, would they summon less, or would they generate less in revenue than Cammy? I don't think so. So that's why I find it a bit strange, and all I'm saying is this code is literally modified from the TW version. This could quite simply be a holdover where they've not shown what the change typing is going to be yet. So all I'm saying is maybe just possibly temper your expectations a little bit, because here at the end of the day, if they do turn out to be legendary characters and you think in your head they're not going to be, then at the end of the day you can only be surprised. Whereas if you build yourself up for them definitely being legendary characters, and then they change the typing on them and make them into Master and Inferno, which I don't even know if that would fit. Would they just both be Inferno? But if they do that, then at least you've half expected it. I know that's very pessimistic. All I'm saying is, up to this point, they've not really given us a lot of reason to be optimistic. So for that reason and that reason alone, I am keeping myself firmly in the pessimist haze mode, which has served me well so far with this game. And if it turns out to be that they are both master units, then while it sucks for free to play, I think overall it is probably realistically a positive. So I'd have to give it a thumbs up, honestly. But yeah, we'll see how it plays out. All I'm saying is, with these things like this here, where it's saying Frankie Rock, which is a completely different thing, there is the possibility that they've literally just not shown the correct information. Their typing might not actually be legendary, and I just don't want people to get their hopes up too much, that's all. Just try to keep expectations in check. Anyway, it's me. See ya.